The Sorting Hat didn't offer Harry Potter a choice, because he didn't ask for one. He didn't beg for Gryffindor bravery. He begged for power. In this timeline, Harry enters Hogwarts not as a wide-eyed hero, but as a survivor. He remembers the cupboard under the stairs. He remembers being starved, and he decides immediately that he will never be powerless again. The Hat sees his ambition, this desperate need for control, and screams the only house that fits: Slytherin. The Great Hall goes silent. As Harry walks to the green and silver table, he doesn't hang his head in shame. He holds it high. When Draco Malfoy slides over to offer a handshake, a subtle test of alliance, Harry doesn't reject it. He takes the hand, but he grips it with a crushing force that erases Draco's smirk instantly. Without a single word, the hierarchy of the house is set. Harry isn't the outcast. He is the alpha. His social circle shifts immediately. On the train, he ignores Ron Weasley, viewing his lack of ambition and laziness as a liability. He has no patience for someone who treats magic as a game. Even Hermione Granger, with all her intellect, becomes nothing more than an academic rival, a nuance to be outperformed rather than a friend to be cherished. Harry isolates himself, surrounded by people but trusting no one. This intense focus catches the eye of Severus Snape. Snape prepares to hate the boy, expecting the arrogance of James Potter. Instead, he finds the cool, quiet discipline of Lily Evans. During their first potions class, there is no mockery, only a silent recognition. Snape realizes this boy isn't looking for fame, he is looking for strength. The bullying never happens. Instead, Snape begins to mentor him from the shadows, correcting his technique and sharpening his mind, recognizing a kindred spirit fueled by resentment. When the mystery of the Philosopher's Stone unravels, Harry doesn't rush to the third-floor corridor to save the school. He goes to hunt the man trying to resurrect his parents' killer. He confronts Quirrell not out of heroism, but out of pure, focused rage. He isn't protecting the stone, he is denying Voldemort a future. When he wakes up in the hospital wing, it isn't Dumbledore offering lemon drops. It is Snape, standing silently in the corner. A mutual understanding passes between them. The boy has potential. Year 2 marks the moment Harry stops merely surviving and begins to rule. When the dueling club incident exposes his ability to speak Parseltongue, the school is terrified. They whisper that he is the heir of Slytherin. Harry doesn't deny it. He weaponizes it. He walks through the corridors like a prince claiming his birthright. When the chamber is opened, Harry descends not to save the school, but to defend his territory. In the dark, he meets the memory of Tom Riddle. Riddle commands the basilisk to kill, but Harry stands his ground. He speaks back in Parseltongue. He invokes the right of conquest. He tells the serpent that Riddle is a failure, a memory of a wizard Harry already defeated. The basilisk hesitates, caught between the commands of the past heir and the living conqueror. The great snake freezes. Riddle screams in fury, but the moment of hesitation is all Harry needs. He spots a loose basilisk fang from a long-dead skeleton on the floor. While the snake is confused, Harry drives the fang straight into the diary. Ink bleeds like blood. Riddle vanishes. Harry emerges from the chamber, not as a Gryffindor hero, but as the undisputed king of the dungeons. In Year 3, fear invades Hogwarts in the form of Dementors. For Harry, these creatures are not just monsters, they are insults. They force him to relive his trauma, making him feel weak, a sensation he has vowed never to feel again. He refuses to ask Remus Lupin for help. Instead, he turns to the only authority figure he respects, Severus Snape. Snape agrees to teach him, but the lessons are brutal. He attacks Harry's mind, forcing him to confront his worst memories. When Harry struggles to conjure a shield, Snape grows frustrated. To demonstrate true conviction, Snape casts the charm himself. A silver doe bursts forth, cantering around the dark classroom. Harry watches it fade and asks a question. Why a doe? Snape looks at the boy, and for a moment the mask slips. He tells Harry that the Patronus reflects the soul, and his soul is bound to the only person who ever saw good in him, Harry's mother. Driven by this revelation, Harry tries again. He digs deep, finding a memory of power, and conjures a corporeal Patronus. But it takes the form of a stag, the symbol of James Potter. Snape sneers at the sight, seeing only the arrogance of the father he hated. Harry sees the disappointment in Snape's eyes and hates the stag too. He feels a flash of shame, wishing he could sever the connection to a father who was too weak to protect his mother. The opportunity to prove his loyalty comes later that year. When the events spiral towards the Whomping Willow and the Shrieking Shack, Snape bursts in, finding Sirius Black. His hatred is explosive. He is ready to execute Sirius on the spot. In the original timeline, Harry attacks Snape here, but in this timeline, Harry hesitates. He remembers the doe. He remembers the love Snape holds for his mother. He stands down, almost allowing the execution, until the truth is forcibly revealed. Sirius is innocent. Peter Pettigrew is the traitor. When the rat is exposed, Snape's rage shifts instantly, but he doesn't kill Pettigrew. He turns to Harry. He hands the boy his wand. He tells Harry that this is his right, that Pettigrew is the reason his parents are dead, and that he should be the executioner. Harry aims his wand, but the hand that crushed Malfoy's grip shakes. He is still 13. He has his father's heart buried deep down. He hesitates. In that split second of mercy, Pettigrew transforms and escapes. The room goes silent. Snape is furious. He turns on Harry, his voice dropping to a lethal whisper. He tells Harry that mercy is a luxury for those without enemies. He says, "The people who killed your mother will show you no mercy. I will show them none, and neither should you." Moments later, when Sirius Black offers Harry a home, a life away from the Dursleys, Harry looks at him with a cold calculation. He doesn't see a saviour, he sees a man who failed. He looks back at Snape, the man who just taught him that hesitation yields nothing but loss. Harry rejects Sirius's offer. He tells his godfather that he doesn't need a parent. He leaves the shack having chosen his side. His loyalty cemented not to the Marauders, but to the Half-Blood Prince. I just want to pause there and ask a quick question. Snape believes mercy is a weakness that gets people killed. Dumbledore believes it's our greatest strength. Looking at how Pettigrew escapes and eventually helps resurrect Voldemort, who do you think is right? Does mercy have a place in a war like this? Let me know in the comments below. Year 4 changes everything. When the Goblet of Fire spits out Harry's name, he doesn't panic. He goes straight to the dungeons. Snape stops teaching Harry how to pass exams and starts teaching him how to survive a war zone. Harry approaches the task with cold efficiency. He doesn't outfly the dragon. He blinds it with the dark curse Snape drilled into him during late-night sessions. Then comes the graveyard. For the first time, Harry's philosophy hits a wall. He watches Cedric Diggory die, not because Cedric was weak, but because he was decent. Killed the spare. The words burn into Harry's mind. He is tortured, humiliated, and overpowered by Voldemort. For all his training, for all his anger, he is still just a boy fighting a god. He survived the duel only by instinct, barely escaping with Cedric's body. When he returns to the screaming crowd, he doesn't weep. He realizes that Snape was right. The world isn't divided into good and bad people. It is divided into butchers and meat, and Harry refuses to be meat. While the rest of the school is in panic, Harry goes straight to the dungeons. He finds Snape pacing in the dark mark burning on his arm. Harry slams his hand on the desk, blood still on his robes, and makes a demand that ends his childhood forever. He reminds Snape of the lessons from the Shrieking Shack, that mercy is just a luxury they cannot afford. He tells his mentor that he is done defending himself. He demands to learn the magic Voldemort uses. He wants to know how to win, and he wants to show the Death Eaters exactly what no mercy looks like. Year 5 is where Harry stops being a soldier and starts being a general. When Dolores Umbridge takes over Hogwarts, she expects resistance from the boy who lived. Harry recognizes immediately that Umbridge isn't an enemy you fight with a wand. She is a bureaucrat. You don't duel a politician, you outmaneuver them. While Hermione Granger wants to start a rebellion, Harry starts a regiment. He creates the Slytherin Guard, his version of Dumbledore's army. But the curriculum is different. There is no stunning or disarming here. Harry teaches his followers the brutal, efficient magic he learned in the dungeons. He teaches them that a fight is only over when the opponent can't get back up. He turns the students into weapons, forging a unit loyal not to the school but to him. Meanwhile, he dismantles Umbridge without ever raising his voice. He utilizes the assets he secured back in the second year. Draco Malfoy. Harry plays the role of the perfect pureblood sympathizer. convincing Draco that Umbridge is a disgrace to the ancient traditions of Hogwarts, a ministry puppet threatening their heritage. Draco writes to his father. Harry effectively manipulates Lucius Malfoy, using the Death Eater's own influence against the ministry. The pressure from the Board of Governors mounts. Umbridge isn't carried off by centaurs in a moment of chaotic justice. She is systematically stripped of her power by the very people she tried to impress. Harry watches her fall from the shadows, learning a crucial lesson. The pen, when dipped in the right poison, is deadlier than the sword. Year 6 is the turning point. Harry begins to track Voldemort's history with obsessive detail. He analyses the records, the artifacts, and the psychological profile of Tom Riddle. He doesn't need Dumbledore to spoon-feed him the answer. He works it out himself. Voldemort has anchored his soul to objects. Harry takes this theory to Snape, but he senses hesitation. For the first time, the student pushes back against the Master. Harry presses him, his own legitimacy now strong enough to detect the cracks in Snape's armour. He demands the truth. Snape realises the time for lies is over. He reveals everything. He tells Harry that Dumbledore is already dying from a curse on the ring. He explains that Draco Malfoy has been ordered to kill the headmaster, but to save the boy's soul and maintain Snape's cover, Snape must be the one to cast the curse. And then he drops the final, devastating truth. He explains that the connection between Harry and the Dark Lord exists for a reason. Harry himself is the final Horcrux. In the original timeline, this information would break him. But this Harry listens with cold, stony silence. He doesn't cry, he simply nods. It is just another strategic exchange. A life for a victory. He agrees to the plan. The night on the astronomy tower plays out like a scripted play. Harry watches from under the invisibility cloak as a trembling Draco Malfoy confronts Dumbledore. He watches Draco disarm the headmaster. But before the end, Dumbledore does something unexpected. Though he cannot see Harry, he looks directly toward the corner where the boy is hiding. Weak and weaponless, the headmaster points a trembling hand toward his own robe. It is a final instruction. Moments later, Snape arrives. The killing curse is cast. Dumbledore falls. The Death Eaters flee, leaving silence in their wake. Harry doesn't chase them. He emerges from the cloak and walks calmly to the body of the headmaster. He remembers the signal. He reaches into Dumbledore's robes and pulls out a small golden object. It is the very first snitch Harry ever caught. The one that secured his first victory for Slytherin over Gryffindor. He stares at the cold gold in his hand. The board is set. Dumbledore is dead, and Harry knows exactly what he has to do next. Year 7 is not a camping trip. It is a tactical operation. Snape remains fully embedded as Voldemort's right hand, feeding Harry coordinates while the boy moves with surgical precision. Harry doesn't wander aimlessly. He hunts. He tracks down the locket, infiltrates Gringotts for the cup, and locates the diadem. He secures every single Horcrux, but he doesn't risk destroying them in the field. He keeps them close, waiting for the right moment to end it all at once. But the plan shifts when Snape brings grim news. Voldemort has broken into Dumbledore's tomb and taken the Elder Wand. Snape believes the war is lost, but Harry corrects him. He recalls a conversation with Ollivander. The wand chooses the wizard. Harry told Snape that Voldemort holds the wand, but he doesn't hold the power. Harry saw what happened on the astronomy tower. It wasn't Snape who defeated the headmaster. It was Draco Malfoy who disarmed him. Armed with this intelligence, Harry acts immediately. He infiltrates Malfoy Manor, not to fight, but to hunt. He finds Draco, disarms him with a single spell, and leaves. Draco is left alive, but very confused. Never realizing he just handed over the allegiance of the most powerful wand in history. With the wand's allegiance secured and the Horcruxes in his bag, Harry makes his final move. He returns to Hogwarts, slipping into the castle to finish the job. He descends into the one place he truly rules, the Chamber of Secrets. Using the basilisk fangs, he destroys the cup, the diadem, and the locket in quick succession. Voldemort screams in pain across the link, sensing his soul dying. He realizes where Harry is and launches a full-scale assault on the castle. The Battle of Hogwarts begins. Harry doesn't hide, he leads. He rallies his Slytherin guard, fighting side by side with the school. On the bridge, Dementors swarm the defenders. Snape, watching from the high castle walls, sees a flash of silver. Harry casts his Patronus. It isn't a stag, it's a doe, Snape sees the symbol of Lily Evans guarding the school, and for the first time in his life, he smiles. Then comes the summons. Harry goes to the forest to sacrifice himself, but when he steps into the clearing, Voldemort freezes him in place. The Dark Lord turns his wand not on Harry, but on Snape. He believes he needs to kill Snape to master the Elder Wand. Snape realizes this is the end. He looks at Harry, frozen and watching. He doesn't beg for his life. He screams a final order. Remember, no mercy. With his dying breath, Snape doesn't defend himself. He casts Fiend Fire. The cursed fire consumes him, but it also engulfs Nagini. The last Horcrux burns. Snape dies, having completed his mission. Voldemort, in a rage, casts the Killing Curse. Harry falls, but he is the Master of Death. The curse kills the piece of soul inside him, but it cannot kill him. Harry rises, and the final dutal brawl begins. There is no conversation. Voldemort attacks, but Harry counters with the spell Snape created, Sectum Sempra. The dark cutting curse tears through Voldemort's defences. It is a slow, dark, visceral end. The Dark Lord bleeds out on the forest floor, defeated not by love, but by superior violence. The Death Eaters, seeing their lord dead, drop to their knees. They look at Harry, expecting him to be their new Dark Lord. They expect mercy. But Harry looks at them and remembers Snape's burning body. He remembers his mother. He raises the Elder Wand. The forest lights up green. No mercy. And that is the reality of a Slytherin Harry Potter. The timeline ends not with a celebration, but with a conquest. Harry survives, but the boy who walked into Hogwarts in year 1 is gone. He didn't defeat Voldemort by being the better man. He defeated him by becoming the superior predator. He stands in the forest as the Master of Death, wielding the Elder Wand, having fulfilled Snape's final lesson. The wizarding world is safe, but it is now ruled by a man who believes that mercy is a luxury he can no longer afford. If you enjoyed this dark timeline, hit that like button and subscribe for more what-if scenarios. And click the video on the screen now to see what would happen if Hermione was sorted into Slytherin. Thanks for watching.